السلام تخاتلتي مالي برجع نحمده كمون عمل العالم زلهم مالتي السلام من دابلكو لايف ناتني أنا كاتام عنده ويمس زنبرة ناي فيلمين مستمخنا تكنيكاوي ليلا قبو ليلا وناي كبرنا لكم نلومي زلنا أبي سجر-ዶብዊ سقطي زبل ويجكونا زبل بسرعة قدف زخيت زلو نعو نمفشالنا مس زتفعل كاب ديك قدمات كيرنا أبزته ويا كونفرنس أو على نركبنا سلازي حبيركم سنة بقبو كتكاتاتلو نزمي دان خعبون شير لايك كتكورن بتحتنا نقدم نابتو على خبلكم
Remembering the 2022 Grand camps for Eritreans, which were based basically in Tigray, were completely overrun, destroyed. People either fled to Addis or to the Amhara region. Other camps have now been established there, but they are very badly served. UNHCR can hardly do anything with them there, and people are in real danger. Just dying of starvation, and they are under attack from various outside groups. It's incredibly dangerous. The other thing to remember is that in the region, the position of Eritreans in Ethiopia depends, in a sense, on the relationship between the Ethiopian government and the Eritrean government. When it's good, when the relation between the governments is good, then the position of Eritreans becomes even more unstable. When it's bad, then the Eritreans somehow get a bit of a lighter touch. The other thing to remember with the neighbouring states like Sudan, Southern Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, is that the transnational repression which we see here is exercised even more harshly in those countries. So if you're an Eritrean refugee, you go from one country to another, fleeing not only that country's repression, but Eritrea's external repression against it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Obviously, just to add a little bit to that, if you know, we kind of share the same culture with Ethiopians, so you'd presume that it would be a safe haven for Eritreans. They don't really cross borders, but if you notice, just last week, over 3 boats have sunk within the Mediterranean Sea. That means Eritreans do not feel safe in Ethiopia anymore, even though, yes, we do share culture, we almost have similarity in a lot of ways, and it should be normal for Eritreans to integrate and live in Ethiopia, but it's not safe haven anymore. People are coming from Ethiopia, crossing borders, and, just if you have been friends with a lot of Eritreans and Facebook and stuff, we are watching a lot of horrendous pictures of families, a mother with 3 children drowning on the sea that I couldn't sleep last night, right? So it's not safe. As Martin says, it fluctuates with the governments, however they feel, and their policies, which is not stable at all for both countries. So it's not safe anymore, and Eritreans are suffering in Ethiopia. Hence why they kind of flee to a better safe places where they'll be able to ask asylum and find a new home. But yeah, I hope it answers your question, but we're going to go to the second question as well. Do you remember your question? Yes. So yeah, please, we can find the way to also make for me, please. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing up the Swedish refugee espionage law. I have to say that I'm not too familiar on how it has been used. I think it's been used more for people who are working in the government institutions. Quite often in politics, the problem is not we do have a lot of good laws, but sometimes it's not used enough. So I will definitely look into this when I come back home and see if this could be used more widely. But I think the main problem is that we don't have the resources in the police department to work specifically on this question. Regarding the national human rights organizations, I think they do have a big role to play here to make sure to lift up the limitations of free speech, for example, that affects the opposition groups. And if you want but also we, as I talked about tagging the question to an issue, that's also important in a political way. I know in Norway what they did was they tagged the issue of transnational repression to integration. And that's a topic that's on the top of the political agenda in many countries. So I think that could be quite wise, because the transnational repression makes people insecure, it makes it difficult maybe if you have psychological problems, difficult to get a job, difficult to integrate in society. So it's actually a hindrance to the integration and to the well-being of people. Thank you.
Thank you, also. Next question, please.
A follow-back from one of the former issues here. What has happened since the peace deal was established in June, July 2018 between Ethiopia and Eritrea? And there was a lot of exchange between the countries, even links being established and so forth. And now they are so hostile to each other. I think it has passed the radar about what has been going on. Was it that Isaias and Eritrea was not included in the peace deal that was made between Ethiopia and Tigray? Or what is it, if there is some kind of answer to that?
Let's see if there's a quick answer to that. Who wants to take the question?
Well, I feel, the honest answer is nobody knows. I mean, that is the reality, because, there is no honesty in politics between the two leaders, and it all comes down to the two leaders. And since the Prime Minister Abiy is so mercurial, and his, he literally believes that God speaks to him directly and tells him what to do. Well, I can't predict what on earth he's going to do. Like this strange idea of demanding the roots of the sea. Why does he want to? What does he want a navy for? What's he going to do with the navy? I have no idea. He's essentially demanding a return of the Ethiopian navy to its bases in Massawa and Assab. And I don't think there's anybody in Eritrea who would really accept that. Although Isaias did at one time make noises about having a federation with Ethiopia early on in its relationship between the two men. So it's, unless you know exactly what's going on, I mean, certainly there have been stories of Eritrean troops being mobilized, people being moved up towards the border. But I mean, Abiy is in so much more weakened position than he was before, because he's now got a fight with the Fana, he's got a fight with the Amhara, the Oromo, their problems with the Tigrayans are themselves split. Now, plus you've got the UAE and the Saudis involved. I mean, who can predict where any of this? There's so many elements and forces in amongst this. You just cannot be sure where any of this is going. Is there tension? Yes. Are there concerns? Yes. Are people predicting a conflict? Yes. Are they going to be right? I haven't a clue.
Just to add,
Thank you, very clear.
Very clear, yeah. Just to add to that, I mean, before 2018, there was 2017, and then 20 years before that, where there was no peace, no war. So the president's since 2001, 2000, is the tension is there, and but there was an active conflict. The impact on the people of Eritrea was the same as it is now, so there isn't. But about 2018, I mean, all of us who speak to were saying, I'm telling the story. So there is a folklore where two very clever travelers were traveling. So the custom is when you're traveling on the journey, you carry your provisions with you. But these two very clever travelers had ash. So they didn't have grain with them, but they made it look like they had ash. So, one thinking, I've got ash, he's got grains, I'll travel with him. The other one thinking the same, we're traveling together until it came to eating time, and they both realized that all they've got is ash. So that's what we think. These two people, they lived in for peace, told us it was for peace, even were granted Nobel Peace Prize for it. All along, all they were carrying was war. And President Isaias actually, his response to the Pretoria peace deal was the Holy Plan, which is we've been curtailed. His aim was to annihilate the TPLF. And if the people of Tigray were annihilated in the process, so be it. That was his view. And he was curtailed. That's his view. And so his current gripe is the fact that he was stopped in his mission, and he's going to carry it on. He's not going to be stopped by this. He's going to find a way. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do you want to?
Yeah, just a little bit on our. In 2018, as Martin mentioned, nobody knows what was the agreement between these two leaders. We might all see that there was just exchanging like rings on the screen TVs. But what this probe is for, we never know. The argument was between these two leaders. And then what I can suggest is their argument was just to defeat the TPLF. So they start the bloody war, what was happening in Tigray, and then they can't manage to sweat them out to finish the war. And then, fortunately for the Tigrayan people, the Pretoria agreement comes into effect, and then the President Isaias Afwerki, from that time on, he thought that he's been betrayed by Abiy. So now, the friction is between Abiy and Isaias Afwerki. He's just playing a card. He's just using different scenarios for different times. So the time now he's playing is he's trying to get Hiwahat that he wanted to destroy them, but he can't. Now he wants to be like an alliance with them and to go to the central government in Ethiopia to oppose another one. So that's the situation between these two governments. And now, God save the people in Eritrea and Ethiopia. We hope there is no war, but that's where they're heading now.
Okay, thank you. So we will be is there anyone who will have one more question before I proceed with my own question? Okay, cool.
Question or review?
Maybe
I
the
will
review
say
for later.
something about that.
For later. Let's keep the questions first.
Okay.
Okay, great. So I think the questions I have for our panelists would be, what would be turning advocacy into action? So one key action, legal, political, or grassroots that should come out of the summit, what would it be? If you could think of anything that the summit could have done. Me and Michaela were having a conversation about this, and we are on the right path to, make sure that our voices are heard. We are on the right path on networking and connecting with people, like-minded people, like people we have in the guest speakers, but also people that actually are in the room today. But what more can we do? What is the takeaway for us and the next steps and the homework that you'd like us to share amongst ourselves so that we can work on it? I will start with Michaela because we had a deep conversation about that, and I'll let you come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, yeah, well, I was just saying that this lady to my right, I thought she made a very good point, which is, to break out of this thing where it's just the community talking amongst the community and disagreeing amongst the community, joining a political party. I think that's really the key, whether it's even just a local council or the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, the Lib Dem Party, because then once you're inside a political party here in Britain, a British political party, they are obliged to listen to you. And, you can represent your community and get your views heard. So I think that's really important, and it takes things to a high level. The other thing, and this I don't know, it's a more complicated thing. One of the things I find really frustrating, and it's true of the Rwandan Congo discourse, but it's also I think it's even more true of Eritrea, Ethiopia. These are communities that are very active on social media, on Twitter in particular. And the level of discourse is at a screaming level. And people just scream. They don't argue, they just scream at one another. And Twitter has become more and more of a screaming outlet for, this is all Americans seem to do at the moment. But there was a time when it wasn't quite like that. And I think if you're an outsider and you're trying to understand, what is this place Eritrea? What is this thing with Ethiopia? It's so complicated. What's going on? And you go to Twitter, you're not going to know. You're just going to come away thinking, oh my God, all these people, firstly, they're writing in a language I usually can't even interpret, I can't understand it, but they're clearly insulting one another. And when they do it in English or French or Swedish, it's just screaming. And I always sort of thought, I don't know if you could set up a facility where it's sort of like fact-checking, what the BBC does, and just sort of saying very, very kind of factual, this is not correct, this is a reference to so-and-so, and that didn't happen. It might be something worth, the Blue Brigade looking into doing sort of systematically, just sort of saying, Blue Brigade fact-checking, and then do a comment on the more outrageous claims, but also do it for your own side, because it's not just one side that does the screaming. Because I think there's so much shouting going on, and it prevents people understanding that. And the main problem the Eritrean community has is people don't even know where Eritrea is. I start my book with this conversation I had years and years ago in Cairo airport, where someone said to me, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Eritrea." And he was, I can't remember, I think he was a Bangladeshi or a businessman. He said, "Where?" And I said, "Eritrea." I mean, I was in Cairo, not far, right? And he said, "Algeria." And I said, "No, Eritrea." And he went, it went on like that. And I was like, what is, this was the man who had traveled, he knew the world, and he had never heard of the place I was going to. And I think that is still a major problem. Comprehension, basic comprehension, and the screening isn't helping. So if you could have fact-checking or some kind of facility of that kind where the screening is removed and it's just straight facts, that would be helpful. Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you. Yeah, please go ahead.
Could I just add something that you said? Because I think you must act, you live in Britain, and you can act in Britain. You can, and I think it's momentum here in Britain with the inquiry from the Parliament about transnational repression. So maybe you, Martin, can tell a little more about it. But when we had this question, if the Parliament should involve, we wrote 600 letters to the Parliament. And that, I think, was the main reason that the Parliament accepted to bring the order to the government to stop transnational repression. And that was not easy, because how do you write a letter to the Parliament? It's not very, but when you send a letter, is it too late to send a letter? Or so in Norway, we sat down with 200 in a group, and we had a pre-made letter, tell about your problems. Are you thrown out of the church or community? Are you harassed in any way? Tell it in your letter. Don't need to be very long. And actually, you don't need to write your name. But, or you can say, please don't make my name official. But do something with this good occasion. So maybe the government of England or Britain will react because they have 3,000 letters from Eritreans. What do you say, Martin? It's too late.
It's never too late to contact your MP and your government. I mean, I completely agree with you. That is what you should do. I mean, we live in a democracy. Use the tools that democracy gives you, and make it pay. I don't have any clever, anything else clever to say. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, to be honest, people chat at me on Twitter all the time. I never respond. Don't care. I mean, who cares what they say about me? People say all sorts of things. But I mean, you were right. I think we could have a very basic issue. So I'm fair. I don't have much else to say. Who else wants to respond?
Something very quick to say, and it's not necessarily for the government, the British government or anything. It's for us, for Brigade Hamadu. It's time to take yourself seriously. You've made your point. You're not a minority. You're a significant player now, and you should use that opportunity. If a young Ermias Papayo from the fields, God knows what passport he was using, what nationality he even had, can convince someone to make a lifelong convert, then imagine what you guys can do. So let's take ourselves seriously. We've made our point. There is no need to go back to the petty violence. We've made our point. We've shown our numbers. We've shown our determination. Let's step up. I am very pleased to see that many of you have been asking for training and online. There is a very good group of people that have come together, and I want to attend the training because it's about international relations with the Middle East. I will be doing conflict resolution. So many people have said, take those opportunities up. Eritrean academics have stepped up to set these up. So let's take them up. Let's take ourselves seriously. Let's put the Blue Revolution on the map positively. Thank you.
I think the most important takeaway is to listen to what has been done in different countries, maybe also talk to the different Eritrean organizations, see what they do in the US, what they do in Canada, and based on that, develop an advocacy strategy and decide what is the most important goal you have, what is the most important to change first. As I don't know the situation exactly here in the UK, but when I look at the situation in Sweden and I look at the film here where the ambassador to Sudan says that we cannot make this country run, we cannot survive without the money from the diaspora. I think money is the key. We need to stop the 2% collection of the 2% tax. I think that should be a first priority maybe. And at least in Sweden, we need to stop the public funding of the different organizations and churches. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, Senga, pass the mic. Go ahead. You are part of the diplomatic arm within Brigade Hamadu, the Plan A. And so far we've made an amazing submissions of reports, which are 87, by the way, out of the 200 inquiries that have been submitted in the whole UK, 87 were Brigade Hamadu, and Sengal was the chair that was behind it, organizing and making sure that all the reports are evidence-based, articulate, and to the point where the government will take our cry seriously. How is the process? And if you were about to say and make a network from today's gathering, what would be our message to we have representative from the police, we have representative from different universities, we have the media here with us. So what would you like to say in a way that would help us to build an amazing diplomatic arm, which we want to do. We want to be part of the conversation. We want to be at the heart of the transnational repression conversations that are happening in the UK.
Okay, yeah, thank you. That's very important. When we see the announcement from the British government that they set up a committee for the transnational repression inquiry, we were very glad. This is an opportunity for us, to stop the transnational repression here in the UK. So what we did as a plan A is the first thing, we just reach out all the communities across the cities in the UK. Manchester, London, Leeds, Sheffield, Nottingham, all the communities has been aware of what the British government is asking and what's happening to us. So what happened to us is what we saw on the documentary before. It's even worse. There is a lot of things not mentioned yet. So all these Nḥamedu members, they have got their own stories, their own, hard feelings, how the transnational repression affects them. Even sometimes when we go out, we don't feel safe when coming back home, because especially last year, there was a year that you never know what's going to happen to you. Some random people, they see you on the streets, they might kill you, especially the government supporters. So as we go to work, we don't feel safe coming back home. That was the situation we were in. So when we see the British government is just want to know, to step up to what's happening for the transnational repression, so we engaged to work with the community to submit as many as we can for the application, witness statement applications. So, like I said, we spread out to the communities all across the cities, and we helped them even to translate it in the English version of the application into Tigrinya, so people can understand it. So they read it, and if they need help in filling the application forms, we make some translations where they need it. So in that way, we managed to make 87 application forms for the witness statement for transnational repression. And I hope this is a very good opportunity for us for a big, for the going forward, a big step, to stop the evil actions of the brutal dictatorship here in Egypt. So that's how, we worked out how we did for the transnational repression by the court.
Amazing. The reason why I mentioned this, obviously, we are here to learn from each other on transnational repression, but more importantly, to make sure that our voices are heard. We're doing the right things, and we hope, today's summit and also other diplomatic activities that we're going to go going forward would help the police and the authorities, help others make the right decisions about what needs to be done to protect Eritreans in the UK. But I am more happy for our honorable speakers to have their last say before we close our today's submission. Please feel free to express your ideas if there is anything that you'd like to say. You guys are more than welcome. But before that, tonight,
have one question, so I will pass the mic to her.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to inform as well that it's not only the 2 persons that the government is taking. It's all the clothes selling illegally without paying any tax. They bring them here. And all the festivals, all that money, it is a support for the Eritrean government. So we don't need only to concentrate on the 2 persons. The festivals, the clothing as well, they need to have a cloth with the flag to go there. And all this one, the entrance money is for the government. So how are we gonna stop all this one as well? We need to think. Because if we stop the financial support for the Eritrean government, then maybe he will think something. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Please.
Thank you. First of all, thank you everybody for your support in us. I'm the member of the Brigade Hamadu from Manchester. As she said, she mentioned tonight, the situation in UK it's the worst that we see in social media or whatever. So basically what happened is we are in target by the government. The people target for us is like, they come in from, so they come in like as immigrants, as like us, So what happened is these people is like, they go like, paper like as asylum seeker, whatever, but it's a fake asylum seeker. So the situation is when the government is like, I'm not calling them like, it's a normally I call them it's a fake asylum seeker. So they say they have like, the government is like, dictatorship, and then put us in prison, whatever they mention, they lie to the UK government. But basically, in the same time, it's the agent of the government. So the situation, as like me, the young generation, is targeted by the agent of the government. So we not clashing with them, or like, we don't have any issue with the police or whatever, So we trying to like defend or ourselves. Sometimes like as he mentioned Senegal, if you work nighttime, you scared like you open a car or whatever, like you might like someone stab you, So the situation we live in UK is like the government doesn't know, and then the public doesn't know. So we live in trade, in UK. So as you see in the social media, they go like knife or whatever. But it's the worse than this one. But it's totally then it's like the UK authority must act like in this kind of situation. So it's a fake asylum seeker, the agent of the government. Thank you.
So we are running out of time, guys, but you guys are more than welcome. We have a networking section on the second floor, so we can all go to the second floor because there's going to be an event after this. So if you guys want to stay, which we will stay for a bit on the second floor, we can go on the second floor and get work. But I really wanted to thank our speakers today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for taking. We really appreciate you, and here's to many more amazing events. Oh, wait, we have, we have a lot of, sorry?
I raised my hand earlier.
Oh, sorry, yeah, there is an event, but please, I want to welcome a few more people. We have Zacharias from Ethiopia-Eritrea in the building. We also have Chris from Metropolitan Police with us, who's raising his hand. So if you don't mind, guys, I would love to hear his thoughts. And then we'll listen to 2 more and then we'll close.
that right?
Yeah.
Just going to say that I have to head off in 5 minutes, so if anyone wants to ask me anything, now I have to go. Love the presentations, really informative, and really relevant for us. I need to, so my job in engagement for one of our African communities, going out, meeting people and getting to know what's going on, but most important for me is to pass the message to local policing colleagues and raise awareness, not just in London but across the UK. So when people have issues, concerns, and things they need to speak to the police about, there's understanding, and when there's understanding, they can help. If they're informed, much better than from a position of ignorance. So that's something that we need to do to sort of spread the understanding.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we have. I think this is. I feel like this is the best thing to. I think having you is the first step, and then we wanted to engage with the police. I think we and other colleagues have conversations. We wanted to ensure that the police are aware of our situations. I think that's one thing, and if we can have sessions, with the police where or the decision makers behind the transnational repression that is happening within London. Sessions like that would help so that we can explain ourselves better, we can build a greater diplomacy, between each other and make sure that, the people who are really abusing the system and using the system and using police power actually to make sure to protect themselves when they are the ones who actually need to be accountable for facilitating transnational repression, are hiding behind police, using the rights of this country to, freely, but they shouldn't be the one. They should be the one who should stop facilitating. They should be the one who should literally. They're the one who abuse the system. My friend was saying most of them are fake asylum seekers. They came here, asked asylum, protection, but then they're the one who are supporting the same regime they flee. So we have been trying this to explain, we tried to explain this to the Home Office before. We have evidences, people that actually came back from Asmara, you saw the footage. They met with the general, who's the head of army, and come back, and they did the event in Camberwell, which got us in trouble with the police. These are the people we're talking about. They're getting direct message from generals and Asmara. And then the police are protecting them. And I know you've been very willing to hear us previously, but we want more of you guys. We want more of you guys behind, the protection. Who's giving? I know it's your right as well to protect people. I'm not estimating that, but I'm just explaining our willingness, to learn from each other. But also, if you guys are more than happy to have another sessions, private meetings, we have our Plan A diplomatic arm with us, Senko, who's more than willing to organize meetings between each other so that you know who are the bad guys, and we're here to help you catch the bad guys. We're here to protect the values that is protecting us. This is home for us. We want to feel safe. This is home. If they are safe, if they are safe in Eritrea, why are they not living in Eritrea? So this is the message I want you to take with you to the police and to the team that is behind catching the amazing youngsters who are really trying to live here and help you guys, catch the bad guys. So we're here, we have the evidence, we've submitted 87 reports to the inquiry. If you guys are willing to take it further, we're up for it. Thank you for coming as well. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you. So we can go. Yeah.
ሰላም ተኸታተልቲ ብርጌድ ንሓመዱ ከይ ዝነበረና ስግረ-ዶብዊ ጭቆና ኣብዝብል ኣብዚ ወዲና ኣለና ኣብዚ ቅፅል ብዝተፈላለየ ክንመፀኩም ኢና ላይክ ሸር ሳብስክራይብ እንዳገበርኩም ነዚ ሜድያ ናይ ኩላትና እዩ ኩላና ክነዕብዮ ድማ ይምሕፀን ንዝነበረና ግዜ ብልቢ መስክን ሰላም ምሸት